Maybe the NFLPA can't do much about protecting the players from homophobia or racism, but it can vouch for the sexual predators in the league. After 24 women came forward, the latest accused is the Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. But don't worry, you'll see him in the 13th week of the league. Anyone surprised? In this video, we're breaking down Deshaun's 11-game ban and $5 million fine after the sexual misconduct claims. Let's get started. First up, are we still stuck with NFL's sexual misconduct problem? The National Football League will go out of its way to make useless overtime and Rooney rules, but when it comes to sexual misconduct and assault problems, the league turns a blind eye. For a sport where the cash is king, apparently it doesn't matter if 20-plus women accuse a player of sexual violence. Well, at least that's the message the NFL Commission gave quite recently. Nelson Aguilar, Julian Edelman, Jordan Hicks, and now Deshaun Watson. What's common among these star players? Well, if your first thought was all our incredibly mid and boring players to watch on the field, you're not wrong. But also, this lineup has been accused of multiple sexual misconducts, and you bet you saw some of them in a Super Bowl. After Watson got hit with 24 lawsuits by women, you kinda hoped his career was over for good. There was no way the commission would find a settlement after some horrifying confessions of the victims. But nope, we all know the league loves a good challenge. The fans were left shocked and angered when the Players Association did what it does best, protecting the accused players from strict penalties. And this time, it was no different. The Browns player got off easy. Is anyone shocked yet? Let's break down what lies in Watson's fate. Fair warning, it's far better than you think. Next up, the NFLP did what? So if you ever get caught up with a traffic rule violation, you know you'll be spending all your money on hiring a lawyer or paying that hefty fine. And then you definitely have to pick up some extra shifts. That's how things work for us. But if you're Deshaun Watson and accused of some awful sexual misconduct, there's no hustle whatsoever. The worst you'll face is a $5 million penalty hit. Yep, you heard that right. After the NFLPA was done negotiating with the NFL, the Browns player is only required to pay the penalty and sit out 11 games. So technically he's just giving up some spare booze money and getting time off from work? All the time in the world to return for those massage spas which he made his hunting ground. Honestly, what the heck, PA? This punishment came right after the league's reassuring statement that Watson should be banned for a lifetime, and the fans thought, okay, cool, maybe the NFL is finally coming through after all these years. But nope, the devil works hard, but NFLPA works harder. After all, at the end of those settlements, pretty sure they're settled for vacation money. The victims who chose to speak up against Watson's misconduct were hoping for more than an 11-game and a small fine. After their deposition was made public, the details were enough to put the NFL fans in a frenzy. So, what went down? Moving on, what are some serious accusations against Watson? As soon as the reports of sexual misconduct hit the media, the quarterback was canceled in a record time, and even the Brown fans lobbied for his permanent ban. That's how you know the allegations were pretty serious. At first, only one woman found her way to speak against the quarterback's predatory behavior. Soon enough, 23 more women fought their way up to file a civil lawsuit against the player. In a blink of an eye, a single case of sexual assault and misappropriation turned into a roaring class action suit. By the looks of it, Watson was supposed to say goodbye to his home ground and maybe settle in Peru to avoid the harsh media scrutiny. But then, the Players Association came through and, yet again, saved an extremely problematic career. Even then, the horrifying confessions of the quarterback's victims stay on the internet. Before we dive into those, consider this an official content or trigger warning. Ashley Solis, the first woman to accuse Watson, testified that from May 2021 to 2022, the Brown star player had sexually assaulted her repeatedly. Deshaun told the jurors that he was under the impression that the sexual encounter was consensual until Solis became teary-eyed. Only then he sends her a text message saying, "Sorry about you feeling uncomfortable. Never were the intentions. Let me know if you want to work in the future. My apologies." Sounds like a sincere text, but hey, the jury called that complete BS, and Watson was caught in a web of lies. So how did the victims respond to the PA's decision? It's clear that Watson's time in the NFL is far from over. In fact, even after getting a shit ton of lawsuits on his back, he shined in the annual draft. Even if the Browns somehow get rid of their quarterback, it's certain that he's not benching the next season in any case. Yep, the NFLPA really said a big fuck you to all 24 women who spoke up against the Cleveland player, especially after the jury was able to establish that the quarterback shows predatory behavior with the women he employs. His presence on the field is bizarre. Watson's lawyers fought every nail and tooth to prove that his encounter with Ashley was consensual and the text message was sent in good faith. So far, so good. But then, 23 more women came forward, and it was almost over for the player. Other than the Players Association, almost every NFL team didn't care about the importance of the accusations. They just want to win the championship. To top it off, Watson's contracts are loaded with dollar bills. That $5 million penalty doesn't even scratch his bank account, let alone cause some serious damages. Talking to the media, Solis said, "It's just like a big screw you. That's what it feels like. That we don't care. He can run and throw, and that's what we care about." Well, she's not wrong, and it seems like the fans agree. Up next, what went down in the first preseason game? Honestly, the Deshaun Deshaun Watson fiasco has brought the NFL fans together for a joint effort to get the player banned. Yep, we haven't seen the fans this united since they all ganged up to bully Steelers for that awful stadium name change. Well, that was all good fun, but this time, the fans are super angry, and they're not limiting themselves to Twitter only. The crowd took him out when Watson was playing his preseason game against the Jaguars. First off, he couldn't put his game where his money is and actually struggled throughout the game. He was only able to finish 1 of 5 passes for 7 yards. Then the fans weren't happy to see him on the court at all. As soon as the game started, the quarterback was met with hostile chants of "no means no" that roared throughout the stadium. Okay, we don't condone bullying in this house, but hey, let's call this some positive reinforcement. It was obvious that Watson was rattled in the first quarter, and that's when things went down the hill. The famous anti-sexual misconduct chant turned into the roar of "you sick fuck," and the stadium was in a frenzy. And nope, it wasn't just Jaguar fans who chanted against the player. In a shocking scene, many Cleveland Browns fans also joined the rivals to show their disdain for their quarterback. Finally, how did Twitter react? By the looks of it, things aren't going to get easier for the player. When NFLPA "go fuck yourself" is trending on Twitter, you know it's bad. Fans are urging Watson to take accountability for his actions and then simply retire from the game. One user wrote, "Oh look, you can sexually assault 20+ women for $5 million and time off work." Even the Browns supporters were quick to notice that the fine doesn't help any victim or the NFL's campaign to make their sport clean. Instead, it will go straight into the league's pockets, and the quarterback will still be racking millions. Geez, his contract isn't cheap for Cleveland at all, so no matter what, the team will fight hard to tackle the initial 1-year ban the NFL had proposed. Yep, this man really got an entire team canceled real quick, and the season has just started. Many fans are unhappy that after the ban is lifted, Watson will be back to play against his former team. There's still a lot to investigate, but the league fanatics are convinced that the Texans did everything to cover up their star quarterback's sexual misconduct. Knowing the history of the league, this isn't a fetch at all. To add fuel to the fire, Watson apologized for hurting the women around him. But here's the catch. Even after a rigorous investigation, he stands by his innocence. Yep, way to rile up the crowd once again. And who knows, maybe the Texans crowd won't be forgiving either. Only time will tell. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Deshaun's crowd popularity is over? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.